Hey, how's it going? I was just sitting here and I was trying to draw characters. I drew this guy who is I looks like a snowman. He wasn't really intended to be a snowman, but he's also kind of boring. I'm not gonna lie. He's a unintentional boring snowman, I guess. I guess you would call that a UBS. Sorry. Anyways, so I've got this character, and he is, he's kind of bland, don't you think? I mean, like, there's nothing wrong with him, but I think that he doesn't have a whole lot of visual interest, don't you think? I mean, all of the sections of his body are all pretty much identical. There's not a whole lot going on there, and I don't know. I just think I think maybe we could do better. So, what do you think? Do you think we could do better? What's what's something that we could do to shake things up and to make our snowman here? He needs a name, by the way. So, boring snowman gets a boring name. We're going to call him Stan. This is Stan. So Stan needs a makeover. How are we going to do that? Well, one thing that we can do is simply changing the sections, like one of the shapes in here. So let's try that and let's see what we get. All right, so got a new sheet of paper. So what happens if we take our old friend Stan and we make we make this top part of his head, if we make it like really large? I wonder what that would do to his overall design. Let's see. So if we give him a really large head and then give him, two smaller size sections for his torso in the bottom half, and then let's give him the same sort of size face, and we're going to put it sort of like in the middle. He changes. That changed his look, didn't it? It did. He's kind of funny now because it looks like his head is swollen. Like he's probably from Texas. Stranger things have happened. We can have snowmen in Texas, I suppose. But he probably ran into a mosquito or something. They tend to do that. So now Stan he's got a giant, humongous head. So that's funny. That's more interesting than, old Stan. What happens if we keep his head the same size as the bottom half and enlarge his middle? Let's give that a shot and see. Let's see what happens with that. All right, so if we give him a regular-sized head up here and a humongous middle and a regular-sized bottom half, and we need to add his face. Actually, we're going to give him a smile this time because it looks like he's been hitting the gym. Stan is very muscly. He's very strong. Look, he's even got abs. Hooray for Stan. Congratulations, Stan. But yeah, that completely changed the way he looks. If we compare him to original Stan was lacked that visual interest we talked about. But Muscle Stan has abs. And apparently that's something to aspire to, at least for Stan. All right, so what happens if we take the big shape and we shift it down to his bottom half? Let's see. So we're going to use a regular-sized circle for his head, a regular-sized circle for his torso, and a humongous circle for his bottom half. Let's see what that does. That actually kind of makes him look bottom-heavy, doesn't it? And we'll give him a smile, too, because nothing can knock him down. Not the wind, not anything. And also because he's a circle. If he gets knocked down, he's going to pop right back up. So, way to go, Stan. That's called optimism, I think. So that's pretty cool, and that was pretty easy. How you can change a shape to make something go from okay to something more interesting, like a snowman with abs. That's pretty cool. So take a look at this guy that I found on the Kimball Museum's website, like in their permanent collection. That's pretty cool. And so the thing that I love about this is I love that big, wide torso. And then he's got like these tiny, skinny little arms and legs coming off of that. So it's almost like a central shape that they built off of. The other thing that I love about this is his head. Do you see how low it's sitting on his body? Like, you don't really see his neck. He's kind of, slumped over a little bit. I love the fact that this shows that, like, not only can shapes and, like, more complicated shapes add visual interest to your characters, but also where you choose to place them can add a lot of visual interest. So, like, what if he had the neck of a giraffe? Like, that completely changes things up visually for this character. Take a look at this guy. The thing that I love about this, first of all, I love how simple the shapes are. The thing that I love most about this, though, is where they decided to place his face. Kind of like going back to how when we gave Stan that really large head and we put that face right in the middle of it. If the artist placed the eyes of this character down lower, it completely changes the look. And as it changes the look, like, the character can take on different characteristics. Okay, so using what we just learned from those two sculptures, let's get some construction paper and some scissors and let's try to do that ourselves. Let's try to cut out some interesting shapes and then layer them on top of one another in interesting ways to see what we can come up with. Okay? So, typically, like, when I look at these shapes, I immediately think of going back to the other sculptures, like, oh, this would be perfect for the torso of a character. So we're going to leave that as the torso. If we just did it simple, that could be a character right there. We could add a face, maybe some arms, maybe some legs. But if we make this the torso? We'll just turn it like that. And we'll make a diamond-shaped head and, I don't know, turn that upside down. What do we get? That's kind of interesting, too. What happens if we lower that? That's kind of cool. I don't know. It could be kind of anything, couldn't it? All right, so as you can see, you can do lots of things. So why don't you get out your trusty pair of scissors, get out some paper, construction paper, your pencils, anything you have lying around, and try to make your own shapes. If you have a glue stick, you can even, once you find something that you like, you can glue them together and paste them down your paper. You can create an entire scene. It's going to be so much fun, and I know that you guys are going to do fantastic with it. Just be careful when you use your scissors, because there's nothing that takes the fun out of art quite like blood loss. Ask my friend Van Gogh. That reminds me. All right. You guys have a great time, and I'll see you later. Thanks for hanging out. Bye.